for a brand new episode of Hop Start. Today we have Shuvro coming back to this show. He didn't really go anywhere, but he's interviewing someone who can help with corporate leasing. So we don't know whether he's actually, finding another office. But I have also interviewed an HR platform service, software, something. We'll find out in the second segment. So stay tuned.
Hi, this is Ajit Panda. I am founder of Spaciya Advisors.
Ajit, hi, welcome to Hopstart.
Thank you so much.
It's a privilege to have you on Hopstart, and it's a very interesting topic what we are going to talk about today. And not just real estate, but if I'm not mistaken, real estate in commercial world.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's interesting. But before digging into a little deeper into this segment, first let's know what Spaciya Advisors all about.
Spaciya, as the punchline says, it's real estate for business.
Right.
So Spaciya actually caters to all kinds of real estate requirements of businesses.
Right.
So we are primarily leasing specialists.
Okay.
So we act, say for example, like a fund manager for a mutual fund. So we help developers and investors into real estate to get some kind of annuity return out of their real estate investments.
Right.
So how can we do that? We can do that by creating a lot of occupancy for their real estate,
Right.
getting very good tenants for them, and optimizing the rental outputs.
Okay.
So this is how we operate. We work with different developers and investors to put their real estate into lease.
Right.
On the other hand, we help tenants to find appropriate real estate for their office spaces, warehouses and industries. We understand their business needs and we understand their facility needs.
Right.
And accordingly, we help them switch over to such places.
So what I understand from a layman's perspective, real estate for commercial, so you are not into selling and buying lands,
No.
or even for that matter any property.
No.
It is to do, to basically acquire commercial space for further leasing out to people who are in need of it.
See, it is basically we work both for a real estate investor or developer,
Right.
or a corporate company which is
In need of
in need of an
space.
office space or a warehouse or an industry.
Right.
Right. So in a way, a developer which has built a large asset class, right, and the property is there that
Yeah.
needs to be leased out.
Right.
So we consult those developers and real estate investor. We develop a strategy for their rental placements.
Right.
We find out prospective occupiers for their properties.
Sure.
So this is our job on the part of the developer and the real estate
And what
investors.
about generating revenue out of this entire process?
See, when
Because I don't think so you are much into the brokerage thing.
see, it is no, I would correct you.
Yeah.
It is a brokerage business primarily.
Okay.
So we generate our revenue by charging service fees to our clients. So we work for the developers and the corporates,
Yeah.
and we charge them the fees for executing a transaction.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Got it. And since we are talking about this industry,
Yeah.
how lucrative is this industry? Especially since it's a career-oriented show, and there are a lot of young people watching it, and a lot of people want to get into it. So a couple of things which they have in their mind is it's definitely a field where you can make a lot of money. And how do you get it? Like, first of all, how do you get into this industry? Do you really need some kind of an educational background, any kind of experience? And then how do you take this forward, basically? I mean, from the right person.
Yeah. See, real estate per se is almost like equivocal with money, right? So anybody who thinks about real estate, if he wants to get into real estate, he has that perception of earning a lot of money out of this industry.
Yeah.
So when I actually, in fact, if you talk about my background, I come from a financial market background. I was working with a bank. I was working with NBFCs. Typically, it is a kind of industry where you, in fact, slog a lot, right? When I first time moved into a real estate brokerage firm,
Right.
I could actually see employees being able to drive luxury cars.
Right.
So for the first time in my life, I could actually realize that owning a luxury car no more is a dream. It can be a reality.
No, so now that I know that how you were in a different field and you thought of getting into this and how Spaciya Advisors came into existence, now I want to know what are the traits and that characteristics which you think people would need to actually excel in this industry, especially when you mentioned a very specific term, rocket sales, and I mean, sales is a very important aspect where you can convince people ahead. How does someone develop that skill in them, or do you think it has to be a little inherent also in a person?
See, salesmanship is something which is more to do with internal level of confidence. Like, to quote you an example.
Yes, please.
A salesman can sell a detergent.
Right.
They can sell a TV.
Yeah.
But selling a real estate is entirely a different ball game altogether. So if you are pretty confident about the kind of trade that you have as a salesman, you know to harness it a little further. So along with salesmanship, you should have the ability to negotiate harder. How do you negotiate harder? You should have enough market intelligence. You should have enough understanding of the overall market scenario, and you should be able to understand the requirements of your corporate clients. So here it is not a B2C transaction, it is a B2B transaction.
So it's not like I want to buy an apartment and I call you and hi Ajit,
it's pretty simple.
Yeah, it's so simple.
I would say
if I say like hi, I'm calling on behalf of Infosys and we are thinking of expanding and we want a space for 25,000 employees.
Yes,
that is where you come in the picture.
Yeah, absolutely. There it all starts from, say for example, there is a company who is looking for sitting capacity of 25,000 people. So it is not just the real estate that is important.
So there's so many things come in the picture.
Yes,
I guess.
it is called the project management consultancy, wherein you are able to give them a proposal wherein where your employees will live. What are the facilities around it? How would they commute?
Right.
And when they are placed in the real estate, what are the amenities that can be made available to them to make their life easier?
And it's more like a township planning, right? It's
absolutely.
Like when thousands of people you have to think of, cater to. So it's no more just like a 4-bedroom apartment. It's much beyond.
So it is just not important that only a client which is requiring to sit 25,000 people. People who have requirement of 50-seater also have that kind of requirement. They would look for an office space which is, say, closer to metro line, right? Where the apartments they want to stay, that is closer by. So these factors also have to be looked into.
Fair enough. I'm sorry for interrupting. Is co-working space kind of a competitors to you, or does it hinder what kind of program you are doing? Are they getting into this industry of giving space to people on rental? They are also coming with a very similar ideology. What's your take?
See, co-working spaces are primarily, I would say, the market is graduating to a phase where companies are now trying to move out of their lockable office places to more agile, community-based, workspaces. Somebody who is working in an office is giving most of his time in an office. That office has to have an environment which is very, agile, lively.
Absolutely.
So the market is graduating from lockable spaces to co-working spaces.
Because I thought I might get an interesting insight from you about this co-working.
So they're not competitive to us. They are rather help us.
In fact, one of your clients. Like where
co-working companies are our clients.
Ajit, thank you so much for being a part of Hopstart and giving us that amazing insight. And thanks for telling us a lot about your Spaciya Advisors. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks. Guys, stay tuned because after a quick break, Rag has something for us. He's actually with the founders of Talkable, and let's see what it is all about.